Right here we have Penny Arcade's On the Rain-Slick Precipice of Darkness 3. And this is a very different look and feel to the series from the last ones. After the first two were made, Penny Arcade came to us, Zboyd Games, and asked if we wanted to pick up the series. And since we were both huge Penny Arcade fans, we jumped at the opportunity. I'm Robert Boyd. I did the design and programming, and my partner was not able to make it today. Bill Sternberg, he did all the graphics and animation. And of course, we also worked with Penny Arcade. Jerry Holkins did a lot of work with the story and writing. Lots of great lines in the game from him. And we also had Alex Maurer, who helped us by composing the score for the game, so all of the music. And yeah, so right here we have the introduction right at the beginning of the game, where Gabe and Tycho are at their detective agency for the occult, and they just got a mysterious phone call that they're going to be taking to Tycho's genius niece and Claire for analysis.
Great. Do you want to give us a bit of a backstory on the series so far?
Yeah, so far, the premise is basically Gabe and Tycho run this detective agency, and they keep getting into serious trouble with evil gods appearing and trying to destroy the world and such. And you don't have to have played the first two games to enjoy number three. We know it's been a while since the series has been since the last game in the series, so we wanted to make it really easy for people to just be able to jump in and get started with this one. The previous games were 3D, cel shaded, more of an action RPG kind of style. This one is patterned after a lot of the classic RPGs from the Super Nintendo Genesis era. So you see the very pixelated sprites and tiles and classic turn-based combat, although we've tried to make a few modifications. So like right here you see our battle screen, and at the top you see our time bar, which is very similar to the Grandia series, if you've ever played that, where characters move forward on it, and by using certain abilities, you're able to actually push enemies back on the time bar, thus preventing them from doing their more powerful attacks. So I think that adds a lot of strategy to the game. Also, we use a different magic point system than most games, in that with each battle your MP resets to 0, and then each turn you gain one more MP, so you can decide if you want to use a bunch of cheap abilities or if you want to save up and use something more powerful. We really tried to make it so that each battle is kind of like its own little puzzle, where you have to really think about what's the best strategy to use with your different classes and abilities and items. With the class system, each character has one class that is unique to them, that always stays with them. And then as you go through the game, you unlock additional classes and slots that you can equip these classes. So right here we see Gabe is, by default, he's a brute, but he can also add different classes like Tube Samurai or Crabomancer or a Hobo. And each class gives you different abilities. It also might give you passive abilities, like with Tube Samurai, I think it boosts your speed if you have it, and there's different passives that give you different things if you use certain Tube Samurai abilities in different ways. Like it has various stances that you can use that unlock abilities and give you different stat bonuses. So by the end of the game, you're going to be able to have 3 classes equipped to each character simultaneously. And with 4 characters in the party at once, that gives you a lot of different options that you can use in combat. And I think that people are going to have a lot of fun trying to figure out what the best combinations of classes are. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think this is the funniest one yet. I just think it was wonderful working with Jerry Holkins on the script. We both bring our own sense of humor to it, and I would often throw out a joke, and then he would look at it and manage to make it even funnier just by adding a word here or rewriting a little bit here. So I think it's extremely funny. I know Jerry is especially proud of the various descriptions you get when you are targeting enemies. Each one has a phrase or a sentence or whatever that is usually very cleverly written, so he's very proud of those. But yeah, we're very proud of the script and how it turned out. I think people are going to be very entertained by it.
Great. And how long was the process for designing this game?
We started talking about the game about 2 years ago, but we've only actually been working on it full time for about a year, so it hasn't been too long. And it's coming out in July 10th, so the game's pretty much done. We're just making sure that we didn't miss anything when we were testing it. And here are hat spiders that were included at the behest of the Penny Arcade fans at the PAX East panel on the game. Somebody came up and said, "Are there hat spiders in the game?" And we said, "Not yet, but if you want them, we'll stick them in somewhere." So this was specifically because they complained that there were no hat spiders.
Is there anything else which has kind of come out of fan feedback from the last game?
Um, Trying to think. That was the big one. Oh, the gentleman class was actually decided because of the official Penny Arcade forums. In the Steam thread, there was a meme that they like to talk about. Oh, you're a gentleman and a scholar because you give away so many Steam games. So we thought, oh well, Tycho's a scholar in this game, so we have to have a gentleman class in the game so that you can make Tycho a gentleman and a scholar. Although I will admit that that's not a very wise decision as far as gameplay goes, but it's there if you want it.
But what are those classes entailing?
Well, the gentleman class is primarily a healing class with a few offensive capabilities, and Tycho already has a couple heal spells in his default class, so it's kind of redundant to give him both classes. But we thought that was a funny little joke that we'd throw in for the fans. Rainslick Precipice of Darkness 3 is coming out on July 10th for Xbox Live Indie Games and PC. It'll be on Steam on day one, and although the Mac version will not be out at the same time, if you buy the game on Steam, you will get the Mac version as well when it comes out. And then at a later date, we will also have mobile versions of the game on iPhone, iPad, Android.